Welcome into your Napa Auto Parts pregame show. Dan Counts alongside broadcast partner Jordan Swick here for the first of a two-game home series against the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. It's going to be Connor Higgins on the bump tonight for the Matsu Miners, and they're looking to rebound after a 6-5 loss to the Anchorage Bucks last night. Have dropped that series against the Bucks 2-3, but as mentioned, back-to-back games here against the Pilots before the Oilers roll into town for a doubleheader. The Oilers so far, game and a half behind the Miners for first place. Both teams have identical losses in the loss column with 15. The Oilers with 19 wins, the Miners with 22. And even though they did lose the series against the Bucks, one thing's for sure, if you want to look at how they could quote unquote rebound, well, really you could just say stick to the basics. They didn't necessarily do anything wrong. In that game last night, Cody Deason wasn't able to get out of the fourth inning. He pitched 3 1/3 innings, had a little bit of tightness, had to be taken out of the game. It looks like he's going to be fine, thankfully. But that is one thing that kind of put a little speed bump into last night's game was Deason having to leave the game early. And it turned into the pen quite rather, like I said, early with Mick Vorhoff coming in. So basically, you just have to stay the course here now. And hopefully you could wrap up what is left of this homestand. That is 2 against the Pilots and a doubleheader against the Oilers on Saturday before you face the Pilots again on Sunday at Mulcahy Stadium. Hopefully you just keep it as is, and eventually you'll start getting on a roll.
Yeah, that's hopefully the case. The Miners, so far as of right now, are in control of their own destiny, as we like to say it. So the Miners didn't get the performance that they might have wanted to yesterday against the Bucks. It's always tough to lose against the Bucks, and I think everybody on this team knows that. But the Miners have had success this season against the Pilots. It's a 2-game series here at home, so the Miners looking to continue with their success here tonight against the Pilots. And Connor Higgins, he had a pretty good start his last time out. He's a guy who, might walk a little bit, too many guys for his liking at least. And if he keeps those walks down again, he's definitely going to have himself a phenomenal game.
We'll see how effective Connor Higgins can be tonight and the rest of the Matsu Miners for that matter when we come back. And we're going to give you the starting lineups before first pitch. But first, we have to step aside for the national anthem here on your Matsu Miners radio network. All right, we're almost ready for Miners baseball here on your Matsu Miners radio network. Miners facing the Pilots here at Herman Brothers Field for game one of a two-game series at home against this Anchorage ball club. First things first, here's the starting lineup for the visiting Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Leading things off, it's the shortstop, Kyle Watson. Second, the center fielder, Deshaun Kersey Jr. Third, the third baseman, Nate Eichhoff. The cleanup hitter, the right fielder, Joe Gillette. Batting fifth, Tyler Walters. He's the catcher tonight. Sixth, Jack Gertzenmeyer playing first base. The designated hitter, Isaac Feldstein batting seventh. Duke Kinnaman, the second baseman, batting eighth. And rounding out the order for the Pilots, it is going to be Dalton Hurd playing left field. The Pilots are headed up by Darren Westergaard, his assistants Marcus Pointer, Stu Peterson, and Cordell Hippolito. For the Miners defensively, from left to right in the outfield, Donadio Stotler, Garrison Schwartz. The corners at first base, Jake Scudder. The man at the hot corner, A.J. Lee. The double play combination of Levi Jordan and Josh Bissonette. And the battery of Connor Higgins and Andy Cosgrove behind the plate. This is going to be Higgins' ninth appearance of the season, his sixth start. And here's the first pitch of the ball game. Breaking ball low for ball one. In his 34 innings of work, Higgins has surrendered 28 hits, 12 runs. They were all earned. 21 walks, 22 strikeouts. Comes in with a record of 4-1 and an ERA of 3.18. This one hit sharply through the hole past a diving A.J. Lee to his left and a diving Josh Bissonette out there at short to his right. So finding that gap in between the 5 and 6 hole for a leadoff single is Kyle Watson. Bring up Deshaun Kersey Jr. He bats on the left side of the plate, facing the southpaw Connor Higgins. A.J. Lee playing at the cut of the grass. Jordan and Bissonette double play depth. Kersey's going to show bunt, and he cannot bring the barrel back in time. Strike one. Dan Collins on the call, joined alongside broadcast partner and tonight's official scorekeeper, Jordan Swick. Miners coming in with a first-place record of 22-15, a game and a half up on the Peninsula Oilers, who are 19-15 and are not playing a game tonight. They did play against the Gold Panthers last night. That was not a league game. It was actually the last game of the season for the Peninsula Oilers. And if I stand corrected, it was Fan Appreciation Night at the ballpark. Waddell and Reed night at the ballpark here. This one bunted right in front of A.J. Lee at third. He looks to second, will throw to first for round number one. So that sacrifice is going to move Watson into scoring position, and up to the plate comes Nate Eichhoff. Nate Eichhoff, another left-handed batter. He's going to go up against the southpaw Connor Higgins. First of a two-game set here between the Pilots at Herman Brothers Field. Higgins from the set, swung on, foul. Eichhoff is batting .257 on the season, has scored 11 runs, has 2 extra base hits, 1 double, 1 triple, has yet to hit the ball out of the ballpark, 6 RBIs on the year, has been walked 9 times, hit by a pitch once. The 0-1 to him paints the inside part of the plate, says Marcus Dolan, home plate umpire for a strike. It's Marcus Dolan behind the plate, Tim Davis, the first base umpire, and Justin Phillips rounds out the crew. Justin Phillips over there at third. The 0-2 pitch lifted in the air, and it's going to bloop in front of Michael Donadio out there in left field. Kyle Watson is going to pull up at third base. So runners at the corners, 1 out here for the Pilots in the top of the first inning.
Now batting right field, number 37, Joe Gillette.
Joe Gillette, the right fielder, roaming up to the dish. He has the second best batting average on this Pilots club. comes in batting .290, 9 doubles, 3 triples, and 2 home runs on the season, 18 RBIs, and leads the team in free passes. He has walked 20 times this season. He also is second in strikeouts, however, with 25. Kyle Watson leads the team in strikeouts, 38 punch-outs on Kyle Watson. It's a whole lot of strikeouts. There's strike one here, thrown to the right fielder, Joe Gillette. Nate Eichhoff takes his lead at first. Same goes for Kyle Watson at third base. The 0-1 fastball high and away. 1-1 the count with 1 out. Two hits so far in the inning for the Pilots and a sacrifice bunt. That sacrifice bunt, the only out thus far. Higgins delivers, and this one hit into right field. That's Garrison Schwartz, who's going to dive and not come up with it. The ball is going to carry him off the wall. Schwartz throws it on in, and there's going to be a throw to the plate. Here it is, and safe. 2 runs scored on that bases clearing. Triple for the right fielder, Joe Gillette.
It was a little bit of a risky move for Garrison Schwartz out there to dive for the ball, but you know what? We saw that yesterday to begin the game when the Miners were up to bat. Jacob Kiwi sent one to left field, and that's how it got started. It was a leadoff triple, and that's what happens when you make that risk. It's a high risk, high reward type maneuver, but Garrison Schwartz unable to get that. But the Pilots playing from in front here today, as they have 3 hits so far in the first inning as they lead 2-0.
Tyler Walters now digging into the batter's box, the number 5 hitter and catcher this evening for the Glacier Pilots. The first pitch he sees, he's going to foul back toward the fence for strike number 1. On 1 the count with 1 out. Runner at third, that is Joe Gillette. Just hit a 2 RBI triple. And the Miners do trail early on now by a score of 2-0. Connor Higgins does have Tyler Walters where he wants him. The count is 0-2. That last pitch high, though, at the eyes. Tyler Walters not going to go fishing. And it's a 1-2 count. Pilots are coming off a great series against the Chinooks. Is swing and a miss, strike 3 there for Tyler Walters for out number 2 this inning. Bring up the first baseman, Jack Gertzenmeyer. The Pilots won by a score of 8-2 in their last game against the Chinooks. That was on Wednesday night. They played them in a doubleheader on Monday night, won by respective scores of 6-5 and 8-4. And then the night before that on Sunday, beat the Chinooks 4-3. So Pilots roam in to Herman Brothers Field on quite the winning streak. You include their 2-1 victory over the Miners their last time here. And that is a 5-game winning streak for the Pilots. They were victorious by a score of 2-1. The last time they were here on the 23rd of July. Haven't lost since. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on Jack Gertzenmeyer. That is going to end the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts to shut the door here on the Pilots. But that is not before 3 hits in the inning, played 2 runners, and we now head to the bottom of the first inning. The Miners up to bat, down 2 on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. We're back here in the bottom of the first inning at Herman Brothers Field. Miners about to take to the plate for the first time this evening. Before that, let's give you their starting lineups. Leading things off, it is the designated hitter, Jacob Huey. Second, the second baseman, Levi Jordan. Third, it's the general, Garrison Schwartz. The cleanup hitter, Michael Donadio. Batting fifth, it's the scudman, Jake Scudder. Sixth, the shortstop, Josh Bissonette. Seventh, the man manning the hot corner tonight, A.J. Lee. Eighth, it's the catcher, Andy Cosgrove. And ninth, the center fielder, Brooks Stotler. On the mound tonight for the Pilots, Fred Schlickholz. This is his 8th game, his 4th start, 20 in the 3rd innings, 24 hits he's given up, 18 runs, all earned, 7 walks, 15 strikeouts, comes in with a record of 1-3 and a 7.97 ERA. The Miners are headed by skipper Ben Taylor, his assistant Joe Perez, pitching coach Matt Greeley. The 1-1 fouled out of play. The count now 1-2 on Jacob Huey. In the outfield for the Pilots, from left to right, Hurd, Kersey Jr., Joe Gillette. Around the horn from third to first, Eichhoff, Watson, Kinnaman, and Jack Gertzenmeyer, the battery of Schlickholz and Walters. That one fouled back once again by Jacob Huey, so staying alive in this at-bat, the 1-2 count on him. Here's a southpaw's delivery. Low and in the dirt, ball 2. Huey coming in with that .444 batting average, 27 ABs on the year, 12 hits. 3 of those were doubles, 1 triple, 6 RBIs. This one grounded back towards short. And coming up with it and throwing it to first for the out is Kyle Watson. Bring up the second baseman, Levi Jordan.
Your second baseman, number 1, Levi Jordan.
So as Levi makes his way to the plate, he'll dig in. Levi still one of the better hitters on the season for the Miners, batting .315, 7 doubles, no triples or homers, 16 RBIs. Want to know the count on Levi? He is second in batting average behind Michael Donadio, who got his average up all the way to .354. This one grounded over to his counterpart, Duke Kinnaman, over there at second. He'll make the play for out number 2.
Your right fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
So very quickly, 2 up, 2 down here for the Miners. We'd like to see the line moving here. Perhaps we could get started with Garrison Schwartz. Schwartz batting .285 on the season. 1 home run, 16 ribbies. His opponents have walked him by a combined 15 times. Here's the 0-1 from Schlickholz. Low and in the dirt, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Nobody on base for the Miners. Here's the 1-1. That one swung on, hit in the air, foul territory. That is Eichhoff, who cannot make the play on it. Third baseman extending out his glove, and it's going to tip right off the top of it. So Garrison Schwartz is going to have to retrieve on back to the batter's box. The 1-2 count still on him. Schlickholz working quickly. Here's his pitch. This one blooped over to the short center field, and Kyle Watson is going to make the play for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down. Go the Miners here in the bottom of the first. We now head to the second. The Miners trailing it by 2 on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Isaac Feldstein leading things off here for the Pilots. Swing and a miss for strike one in the top of the second inning. His team up by a score of 2-0 here at Herman Brothers Field. It'll be Feldstein, Kinnaman, and Hurd to follow. The 0-1 by Higgins. This one hit over to A.J. Lee. He dives, comes up with it. The throw to first. Got him for out number one. Good play there by A.J. Lee over at the hot corner for out number one.
Man, that was not an easy play at all by A.J. Lee. That ball was hit really hard, and he had to dive to his left, and he had enough time to get back to his feet and throw him out. So give credit to A.J. Lee over there at first base, starting off the inning right with a 5-3 ground out.
Bring up Duke Kinnaman, second baseman for the Pilots, and the first pitch that he sees, he is going to take right there down the heart of the plate, fastball for strike one. He was taken all the way on that one, it seemed. Higgins working quickly here. The pitch, high, another fastball, 1-1 the count now. Higgins has to erase the woes in the first inning where he surrendered 2 runs and just get on with it here. Here's the 1-1 from Higgins. Once again, high over the letters, 2-1 the count. Higgins versus Schlickholtz tonight in the first game of a 2-game set between the Miners and Pilots. Here's the 2-1. Hit, it's a little nibbler over to Josh Bissonette at short. Took a funky hop on him, but he's able to make the grab and throw it on over to first in time for the second out this inning. That one looked like it was just going to be a slow dribbler, and then when it got right by the cut of the grass there at short, hopped up high enough for Bissonette to put his glove around his face area, then made the throw and the play for out number 2.
Fortunately, it wasn't a hard hit ball, because if it was, that would have ricocheted so far away from him, and it would have been a base hit.
Bissonette been playing a solid shortstop as of late. Count 1-0 on Dalton Hurd, the number 9 hitter this evening for the Pilots. Digging into the batter's box. On the right-hand side, Hurd batting .317 on the season. That is best on the ball club for the Pilots. 3 doubles, 1 triple, a home run, and 11 RBIs. He's going to take that one downstairs. 2-1 the count on Hurd. Higgins fires away. This one popped up in the air. Josh Bissonette calling for it, and he will make the grab. So 3 up, 3 down for the Pilots here. A nice quick inning for Connor Higgins. We'll head to the bottom of the second. The Miners still down by a pair on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Michael Donadio leads things off here for the Miners in the bottom of the second inning. First pitch from Schlickholtz. It is swung on and fouled away. Donadio comes in. He has hit safely in 6 of the last 7 ball games. And out of those 6 games where he's hit safely, 5 of them multi-hit games. Getting that average all the way up to 354 in conference play. Comes in with an on-base percentage of .445. Takes that pitch all the way, count now 1-2 on Donadio. Schlickholtz rocks at the mound, and here's his delivery. Breaking ball low, count now even on Donadio. Donadio has 19 walks this summer. That leads the team. And remember, he was somewhat of a later addition to this ball club. He's going to swing through that breaking ball, and he goes down swinging to lead things off here in the second inning for the Miners. Here comes the Scud man up to the dish. He's batting .236 on the season. Has 12 extra base hits, 10 doubles, 2 home runs, 24 RBIs. He is second on the team in walks with 18. He's going to ground this one over to Duke Kinnaman at second base. And that's an easy play for Kinnaman to make. And it's out number 2 here in the inning.
Now batting your shortstop, number 6, Josh Bissonnette.
Schlickholtz retiring the first 5 batters here in the ball game. We'll see if Josh Bissonnette, the number 6 hitter, could break that up. He roams up to the dish. Batting .216 on the year. 1 home run, 10 RBIs. The first pitch from Schlickholtz. Bissonnette is going to take it all the way. Breaking pitch, ball 1. A.J. Lee, the third baseman, on deck for the Miners. They trail it 2-0 here in the bottom of the second. That one once again taken all the way by Josh Bissonnette. The bat has not left his shoulders. 2-0 the count. 2 very good takes to start off this at-bat for Josh Bissonnette. Schlickholtz winds, delivers. This one hit hard, and it's Nate Eichhoff making the play at third base, the throw, and it's a hang with him to end things here in the bottom of the second inning. That ball was scalded off the bat of Josh Bissonnette, but a good play by Nate Eichhoff, and it's 6 up, 6 down for Schlickholtz. We head to the third. 2-0 the score here still at Herman Brothers Field on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. It's leadoff man Kyle Watson here in the third inning, who's going to start things off for the Pilots. They lead by a score of 2-0 over the Miners. Watson with a single and scored the game's first run back in the first inning. He's going to take first pitch strike from Connor Higgins. Higgins winds, fires away. Curveball low in the dirt. Even up the count at 1. Kyle Watson, an all-star shortstop for this Pilots club. The pitch from Higgins. Low once again, 2-1. Not many games left for the Pilots. Their last game of the season is actually going to be the 31st of this month. That is against the Miners at Mulcahy Stadium. So far, the Pilots in third place. They're 2.5 games back of the Miners. And from the looks of things here, you will see the Pilots in the playoffs. We mentioned the Chinooks just in a total downfall. They've lost their last 10 games. They're 12-24 on the season, 9.5 games out of first place. So the Pilots' magic number to clinch a playoff spot, very low, even though that's just what the math says. Logically, you could basically already count them in. The Chinooks would have to go on an absolute tear, winning basically every single game left of the season, and the Pilots would have to lose out. First pitch paints the inside part of the plate with a fastball, strike one on Kersey Jr.
The magic number is at 9 for the Miners to secure that, or 8 now for the 1 seed, as the Oilers again not in action in the ABL tonight.
And we have just been delivered Waddle and Reed. Guess these are stress balls? All right, we're getting word that they are stress balls.
Not that we get stressed out here in the media booth.
Financial advisors Waddle Reed. It is Waddle Reed night here at the ballpark. I'm actually enjoying this thing. It's starting to squeak a little bit. It's not a squeak toy. Maybe that's just my Herculean strength. This one's going to be hit out to right field, and the general is on his horse and makes the grab for out number one. Good jump, good read there out on right field by Garrison Schwartz. Good job, Garrison. That's the first out this inning. It is an F9 if you are keeping score at home. Nate Eichhoff, the third baseman, number 3 hitter for the Pilots, coming up to the dish. There is one out, one man on, that one man being Kyle Watson, who led this inning off with a walk. First pitch way outside in the dirt. Good job by Cosgrove to keep that ball in front of him. 1-0 the count on Eichhoff. Media guru Josh Grissom delivering the Waddle and Reed stress balls to the broadcast booth. Not as exciting as when he delivered cotton candy a few games back, but we'll take whatever we could get up here.
The stress ball a little bit more healthier than the cotton candy was. But nonetheless, that cotton candy definitely hit the spot. It was like my first time having cotton candy since, well, it's been a long time, let's put it that way.
The 2-0 pitch. Swung on, fouled, backing out of play. 2-1 the count. This stress ball a lot healthier. That cotton candy, for those of you who weren't tuning into that broadcast, just extremely sugary. I know, I've been told that's all cotton candy is, obviously, is pure sugar. But that was one heck of a sugar rush, especially when you combine that with my pregame ritual drink, which is coffee. Usually go with a good coffee down here at the ballpark. The food and beverage over at the concession stands here at Herman Brothers Field. Sorry. The best in the ABL. This one hit hard past the glove of Jake Scudder over there at first. Rounding second and heading for third is Kyle Watson. He is going to get there on the one-out single by Nate Eichhoff. Went with a minor burger tonight. Typically been trying to watch my figure and go with the turkey burgers, but I decided I'm going to go all out tonight.
Seems like you like the minor burger more than the turkey burger, because you started off the year with the minor burger pretty much every single time, except the first time. Or no, it was the second time of the year. You got a minor dog, and then you went minor burger pretty much the entire time until you tried the turkey burger, and then you were at that for about a week or so. And now you're back to the Miner burger.
I'm a man of many interests. Don't necessarily know what I would go with. I think I would actually recommend the turkey burger for anybody coming down here to Herman Brothers Field because there's a lot of places you could get a really solid double cheeseburger, which is essentially what the Miner burger is. It's not as easy to find a really solid turkey burger at the ballpark, so because of that, that's what I would have to recommend. It's the Flash himself, pitching coach Matt Greeley, making his way back to the dugout after that mound visit. There are runners at the corners. That's Kyle Watson at third, Nate Eichhoff at first for the Pilots here. In the top of the third inning with one out, Pilots lead it by a score of 2-0. That one fouled off by the right-handed hitter, right fielder Joe Gillette. 0-1 the count on him. Tomorrow was actually baseball card night at the ballpark. Tudor Bingo Center and Senator Bill Stoltz baseball card night. And we actually got a glimpse of those baseball cards. Christmas came early tonight, folks. There's actually a full sheet of the baseball cards, all the players now hanging up in the press box here at Herman Brothers Field. They are quite nice, and they were nice enough to actually include the media crew, the PA announcers, coaching staff, Vice President Terry Johnson, General Manager Pete Christopher on a baseball card with the assistant GM and head coach. Of course, the HC being Ben Taylor. And the assistant GM, of course, Bob Plumley. It's a 2-1 count on Joe Gillette. Here's the pitch from Higgins. And actually, for those of you listening in at home, if you are curious to see what those baseball cards look like, I think I'm going to recommend to our media manager, Josh Grissom, that he post a few on Instagram. Not Instagram. We don't even have an Instagram yet, but we do have the Twitter and the Facebook. Perhaps we will post some pictures on Twitter and Facebook so you could take a look at these baseball cards. Your boys will be coming home with some for all you parents tuning into the broadcast. But if you're itching like we were to check them out, we should post a couple pictures for you. This one is popped up in the air. That's Levi Jordan making the catch for out number 2. Nobody scoring on the play. Runners still at the corners for the Pilots. They have yet to score this inning. They did tally 2 runs back in the first. And I'm not going to lie, speaking of those baseball cards, I think they are the best within the last 10 years. I think if you went to the press box here, I believe displayed on the wall are the baseball cards year by year. I think it starts with 2004 here in the press box. That's the earliest it goes back. So a dozen years so far up here in the booth, and this year's looks spectacular. This one hit out to left field. That's Michael Donadio making the grab and it out. Number 3. So we now head to the bottom of the third. The Miners still trail it by a pair of runs here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Third baseman and one of the fan favorites here at the ballpark, A.J. Lee, leading things off for the Miners. He squares bunt, lays it down. Schlickholtz is going to retrieve it. His toss over to first is just in time to get the speedy A.J. Lee over at first. That was a pretty close play there.
Yeah, it looked like Schlickholtz kind of had a little bit of trouble getting the ball out of his glove. Perhaps he could have gotten Lee out by a little bit more, but AJ Lee, give him credit for running all the way down the line, not giving up all the way. But fortunately, he was put out.
Andy Cosgrove, the catcher, now up to the plate.
I did say unfortunately, right? Or did I say fortunately?
I think you might have said fortunately. That wouldn't make you a Pilots fan, and we now have to officially kick Jordan Swig off the broadcast.
Nice knowing everybody.
Unless you want to retrieve that statement. You want to take it back?
I definitely do.
Okay.
But I can't go back in time, so I guess I can't.
Well, you could still be sorry for it. That's apparently not what you meant, so you know what? I guess we will keep him on the broadcast. Andy Cosgrove still at the plate. The count 1-0 on him. Here's the delivery from Schlickholtz. Low in the dirt. 2-0 the count now on the Cos. Brooksy on deck. Stotler making home in that 9th spot. Talking with Ben Taylor, skipper of the Miners, earlier today. And he says he likes having Stotler down in that 9th spot. It almost gives him back-to-back leadoff hitters. I figured that's what his philosophy was, but wanted to ask and make sure. Ben Taylor having a good baseball mind. If you catch him on a good day and talk some baseball with him, you'll have yourself a lot of fun. Which was the case earlier on up in the press box. The 3-0. Check swing by Kaz. It's called a strike by home plate umpire Marcus Dolan. 3-1 the count now on Andy Cosgrove. The delivery from Schlickholtz, and that is going to be ball 4. So Andy Cosgrove drawing a walk here. The 1-out walk, and it's going to be the Miners' first base runner of the ball game.
There goes the perfect game.
Perfect game is officially
Be gone.
out of here. In the broadcast booth, I'll paint the picture for you, wrapped up a fake piece of paper and tossed it out the window. Up to the plate now, Brooks Stotler, center fielder tonight for the Miners. This is his first plate appearance. We are in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Miners trail it by 2. They have a little bit of work to do, but just a little 2 runs should be nothing for this ball club. They scored 20 in Game 2 of the series against the Bucks on Tuesday night. It was AARP Day at the ballpark. Tonight, Waddle and Reed. The sponsors. Here's the 1-1, taken all the way fastball. Stotler just looking at it. It's strike 2 now. Brooksy coming in, batting .286. 1 home run on the season. It was an inside the Parker, 12 RBIs. Here's the 1-2. Swung on. Foul tipped into the catcher's glove. And that's going to put Brooks Stotler down swinging. Up comes the designated hitter tonight, Jacob Huey.
Now batting, your DH number 17, Jacob Huey.
Jacob Huey actually scheduled to pitch tomorrow night against these Pilots. Huey's going to take that one all the way for ball 1. Sun is shining for the first time in a while here at the ballpark. It is partly cloudy, but we can actually see a little bit of the blue skies here for the first time in what feels like a long time, maybe even a week. A perfect 70 degrees in Palmer. This is a great day for baseball, folks. And when we checked the weather earlier this week, even though you never know what to expect here in the Valley, I still will tell you this. It looked like we were going to have at least 1 or 2 postponed games. So far, so good. We have played them all that have been scheduled. That one grounded over to first by Jacob Huey. And taking it himself to the bag and ending the inning is the first baseman, Jack Gertzenmeyer. So we have completed a third of this ball game. The Miners trail it by 2 still on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. So would you look at this? Jack Gertzenmeyer makes the last out in the bottom of the third with a 3 unassisted. Now leads things off here in the top of the fourth inning for the Pilots. They lead the Miners by a score of 2-0 here. Dan Collins joined alongside Jordan Swick on your Matsu Miners radio network. 1-1 the count on the first baseman, Gertzenmeyer. This is going to be his second plate appearance of the ball game. He struck out swinging to end the first inning. It was that first inning that the Pilots scored their 2 runs. And here's the 1-1 from Connor. Hit foul. Isaac Feldstein, the designated hitter, on deck. Duke Kinnaman, the second baseman, in the hole. That is the due-up for the Pilots here in the fourth. The 1-2 pitch from Higgins. Foul right back our direction. Count remains 1-2. And we continue to be spoiled here in the press box. In between innings, we're delivered a couple ice-cold Smart Waters. Hashtag life is great. Definitely can't complain. The only thing that I'm worried about so far is this score, but I'm sure these boys have enough to come back. Miners trail it by a pair. They're wearing their camouflage jerseys this evening. They love those camos. Yellow lettering in the white bottom pants. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Looked like Gertzenmeyer wanted to slam his bat to the ground after that strikeout. It is the third strikeout of the night for Connor Higgins. All courtesy of a swing and a miss. So here's Isaac Feldstein, tonight's designated hitter, roaming up to the dish. Mentioned he is 0 for 1 of the night, grounded out to A.J. Lee at third back in the second inning. Swing and a miss, strike 1 to start off this at-bat. Connor Higgins winds, now delivers. That one hit foul. Dr. K's Pediatric Dentistry in Palmer believes the best dental care can only happen when a trusting and respectful relationship has been built between the doctor, parents, and their children in a safe, fun-free, stress environment. It's Dr. K's goal to change how you think about going to the dentist. Give them a call at 745-KIDS to make an appointment or go online at matsumoose.com. Once again, that relationship has to be built between the doctor, parents, and their children in a safe, fun, stress-free environment. Dr. K's Pediatric Dentistry, everyone. Love mentioning that link, matsumoose.com. Whole lot of moose sightings up here in Alaska. That one chopped on foul. Count remains 0-2 on Feldstein. Miners were on a 7-game winning streak before they lost to the Pilots on Saturday. That loss then, heading into Monday, became a 2-game losing streak when they fell to the Bucks. Were victorious on Tuesday night, but lost yesterday. That moves their record to 22-15 coming into this contest. 3 more home games remaining after this one before they head on the road again. It's a contest against the Pilots tomorrow night, doubleheader on Saturday against the Peninsula Oilers. The only teams at home that the Miners will face for the rest of the regular season, the Pilots and the Oilers. Here's the 1-2. Chopped over to A.J. Lee, a good pick over there at the hot corner. Throws on over to Scudder, and that is the second out this inning. Bring up Duke Kinnaman, who was 0 for 1. He grounded out to Josh Bissonette in the second inning. So one more time, that is Pilots. No, check that. Pilots, Oilers. The final 4 home games. The Matsu Miners wrap up the regular season at home on August 3rd. That's a 6 p.m. start against the Oilers. Jake Scudder in foul territory, sliding for that one, but cannot make the play. So it is just going to be strike 1 on the Duke. It'll be MTA Fan Appreciation Night, the last regular season ball game. The Miners have already clinched a playoff spot, so they will be playing baseball on August 4th and August 5th. If they win that first round, they'll also be playing baseball all the way until August 7th. So that is the next step. This one grounded once again toward A.J. Lee. And once again, he's going to make a nice pick, nice play. 3 up, 3 down here in the fourth inning. Go the Pilots. We now head to the bottom of the fourth inning. The Miners still looking for their first hit of the ball game. They trail it by 2 on your Matsu Miners radio network. Second baseman Levi Jordan attempting to get the first hit of the ball game for the Miners here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Miners so far with just one base runner, that being Andy Cosgrove, who walked last inning. Jordan taking all the way for strike 1. Schlickholtz winds, delivers. This one is going to be chopped right to Nate Eichhoff over there at third base. He sucks it up. A little bit of a high throw, but the lengthy Gertzenmeyer over there at first base, easy for him to make the catch. It's going to be out number 1.
Your right fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
So out comes the right fielder, Garrison Schwartz. And quite a few claps for him. One of the fan favorites is Garrison. He's going to hit this one over to Gertzenmeyer at first base, who's going to take it himself. 2 up, 2 down here in the fourth inning thus far. And Michael Donadio is going to have to be a 2-out hitter here if he wants to get anything going. He struck out swinging his first time up back in the second inning. Here's the first pitch to Donadio. He's taking all the way for strike 1. Pitch from Schlickholtz. Inside, nearly hits Donadio. That'll even up the count at 1. 1-1 the count with 2 outs here. Here's the 1-1. Chopped over to first, but is going to go foul. The 1-2. Taken. That's going to even up the count at 2. Jake Scudder, the first baseman for the Miners, on deck if it gets that far. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So we're done with 4. Miners still trail it by 2 here on the broadcast. It's your Matsu Miners Radio Network.
Welcome back to Herman Brothers Field at the Alaska State Fairgrounds, where the Miners trail the Pilots by a score of 2-0. Dalton Hurd shows bunt, pulls back, and it's called a ball. Hurd today 0 for 1. Flew out to the shortstop, Josh Bissonette, his last time up in the second inning. The Pilots 2 runs on 4 hits here today off Connor Higgins, and the 1-0 pitch is going to be swung on, hit foul. Dalton Hurd on the season hitting .317, one of the better hitters on this ball club, batting in the 9 hole here today. Here comes the 1-1. Shows bunt. He tries to lay it down, but actually comes right back towards us here in the press box. You got to think this is a very important game for the Miners here today. A loss means the Oilers, who are not in action here today, would only be 1 game out of first. And the Pilots, if they beat, they gain a full game on the Miners. They would only be 1.5 out. So the top 3, actually you could say the top 4, not too far away. So a lot of games left to be played. The magic number is at 8 games for the Miners to secure that 1 seed. The 2-2 misses up high, 3-2 now. I mentioned on some of the other broadcasts that the 1 seed plays the 4 seed. So that would be the better matchup. As the 3-2 pitch is popped up, catcher Andy Cosgrove tosses his mask, and he will make the grab to retire Dalton Hurd for the first out of the inning. So that would bring up Kyle Watson, who today has been on base both of his times. Started the game off with a leadoff single. Then he walked back in the third, so he's 1 for 1 here today. He's one of the 2 guys on the Pilots who came around to score, the other one being Nate Eichhoff, who is in the hole. Pilots on a 5-game winning streak. The broadcast partner Dan Collins mentioned that just a couple innings ago. The start of the winning streak was here against the Miners on Saturday. And the 1-1's going to be hit to short. And Bissonette has trouble getting the ball out of his glove. So it's going to be an E6.
Now batting, center fielder number 24, Deshaun Kersey Jr.
So Watson on base all 3 of his times here today. The next guy up to the plate is Deshaun Kersey Jr., who is 0 for 2. Grounded out and flew out. Both of his at-bats and a pickoff attempt over at first, but Watson getting back in there safely. A beautiful day here at the ballpark, 70 degrees and sunny. It's usually mid-60s, high 60s, but it gets to the 70-degree mark here today. Sure, everybody out here, at least on the baseball team, not used to this kind of temperature during the summer. But it is much to my liking. I'm not a huge warm weather kind of guy, but I'm not really a cold one either. I like the moderate. 60 degrees is perfect. 65 actually is perfect. 60 is a little cold. But it is a great day here today. Hopefully the Miners come up with a win, but they find themselves trailing 2-0 here to the Pilots. And as the 1-1 pitch is going to be swung on, fouled back, out of play. Mentioned it's a 2-game series here against the Pilots. So after today, There'll be another game against the Pilots tomorrow, which would be Tudor Bingo Center and Senator Bill Stoltz baseball card night at the ballpark. Baseball cards came out very nice, as we were able to get a sneak peek of them. After the series against the Pilots, the Peninsula Oilers come to town for a doubleheader on Saturday. So these next 4 games, including this one, is very important in terms of the standings, as the 2-2 misses up high, ball 3 now. Because the Oilers, who come to town, are in second place. That is the case right now. We got a runner on first base, that being Watson. Casey Jr. with a full count, 1 out here in the 5th. This time is going to be called. And a pickoff attempt over at first, but Watson diving back in safely. Connor Higgins has 75 pitches right now. And the 3-2 pitch is going to be swung on, hit to first, and it gets through. Watson's going to round second. He will head to third, and he's going to get there without a throw, and it's going to be runners on the corners here with 1 out for the Pilots.
Now batting third baseman number 4, Nate Eichhoff.
So Nate Eichhoff today, the third baseman for the Pilots, is 2 for 2. 2 singles on the day. Him and Watson, who's over there on third base, the only Pilots who have been on in all of their plate appearances here today. Kyle Watson with 3, Nate Eichhoff with 2 right now. Higgins looking into catcher Andy Cosgrove for the sign. He sets and delivers, and a bunt. He shows bunt, pulls back though, and it's called a ball. Here comes the 1-0 from Higgins. It's going to be swung on, hit to center. Backpedaling is Brooks Stoller. He will make the grab, and the throw is going to go to second base. And the Pilots are going to score their 3rd run of the ball game on the sac fly by Nate Eichhoff. So scoring is Kyle Watson from third base. That will be an unearned run, seeing as if he got on via the E6. Pretty much the runs from here on out will be unearned if there are more scored. Hopefully that's not the case. The Pilots leading 3-0. And the first pitch is going to be swung on, hit foul. The batter is Joe Gillette, who earlier in the game hit a triple. It was in the first inning, hit it down the right field line, as it was Garrison Shorts who tried to make the grab, and it got behind him. So it was an easy triple for Joe Gillette, and which ended up being a 2-run inning thanks to him. He's the guy credited with both RBIs in that inning. And the Pilots leading 3-0. Kersey Jr. has his lead at first, and the 0-2 called strike 3. And Connor Higgins able to get out of the inning, but not before the Pilots capitalize on an error by the Matsu Miners, as they now lead 3-0. We will head to the bottom half of the 5th when we come back on your Matsu Miners Radio Network.
First pitch to Jake Scudder taken for a ball outside. 1-0 the count on the Scudman, leading things off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Miners are seeking their first hit. They trail it 3-0 here at Herman Brothers Field. That one inside on Scudder. 2-0 the count on him now, and if he leads things off with a walk, we'll take it. So far, one base runner for the Miners. That's Andy Cosgrove, who walked in the 3rd inning. Schlickholtz gets the signs. He winds. Here's his delivery. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. 2-1 the count on Scudder. Pretty good crowd on hand tonight. It's a beautiful night for baseball. 70 degrees and sunny here at the ballpark in Palmer, Alaska. That latest pitch by Schlickholtz outside. 3-1 the count now on Scudder. He's got a good count on him. Scudder grounded out in his first at-bat back in the 2nd inning. Digging into the batter's box. It's lefty versus lefty. Here's the 3-1. Popped up in the air. Short right center field. That is Kersey Jr., who's going to make the grab for out number 1.
Now batting your shortstop, number 6, Josh Bissonette.
Up to the dish now comes Josh Bissonette. He grounded out to 3rd base his first time up. So far, so good from Fred Schlickholtz. Connor Higgins given up 3 runs so far, 2 of them earned. Here's the pitch to Josh Bissonette. Way outside, ball 1. Almost time for playoff baseball here in the ABL, but can't look too far ahead. You have to pay attention to what is in front of you. The Miners in first place, 7 games above 500. But you cannot take anything for granted. You have to keep winning ball games, and that's one thing I like is game in and game out all the way, all season. There's something to play for. Sure, they've clinched a playoff spot, but they have not clinched the number 1 seed. Nor have they even clinched the number 2 seed. The top 2 teams will host their first series at home to open up the playoffs. The Miners have not clinched that yet, so they need to start winning some more ball games. That one fouled off by Josh Bissonette. The count now 2-2. 1 out, nobody on. The Pilots have 3 runs on 5 hits. They have not committed an error tonight. The Miners, no runs, no hits. They've committed 1. Here's the pitch to Bissonette. Lifted in the air, but it's going to be snagged actually by second baseman Duke Kinnaman for out number 2.
Now batting your third baseman, number 5, AJ Lee.
Was almost a bloop single over the head of second baseman Duke Kinnaman, but he puts his glove in the air, makes the grab, and it's going to bring up AJ Lee with 2 outs here in the inning, nobody on. The first pitch to AJ Lee, fastball outside, 1-0. AJ Lee now stepping out of the batter's box, steps back in, and he awaits the delivery from Schlickholtz. Here it comes. Catches the inside part of the plate on AJ Lee. He does not take the bat off his shoulder. The count 1-1 on the Miners' third baseman. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. That was low and away. AJ Lee chasing one there for strike 2. Andy Cosgrove on deck if it gets that far. He's the only base runner of the game for the Miners. The 1-2 pitch. Hit foul. The Miners spend their mornings lifting, running, and staying in shape by visiting the Alaska Club. Visit them in Anchorage, Eagle River, Fairbanks, Juneau, and the Mat-Su Valley, or online at www.thealaskaclub.com. Deuces wild here on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. AJ Lee up the dish. And here's the pitch from Schlickholtz. Swung on and missed, strike 3. It was in the dirt, so Walters makes the throw over to Gertzenmeyer. And once again, it is 3 up, 3 down. That is the second consecutive 1-2-3 inning for Schlickholtz, and his 4th on the night. We are done with 5 innings here at Herman Brothers Field, and the Miners trail it by a score of 3-0 on your Matsu Miners radio network. Tyler Walters, the catcher for the Pilots. He's going to be leading things off. He sees ball 1 here. We have completed 5 innings already. Only an hour and 19 innings into this ball game, and here we are already in the top of the 6th inning. Walters is going to pop this one up. This is a major league flyout in left field over there. That's Michael Donadio camping under and makes the grab for out number 1.
Now batting first baseman number 22, Jack Gerstenmeyer.
The Pilots scored 2 runs in the first inning, a run last inning, giving them a total of 3 so far. The Miners have yet to score. Been playing from behind since inning number 1. So it is a 1-0 count on the second batter this inning, Gertzenmeyer.
Go.
That one hit over to A.J. Lee. He comes up with it on over to Scudder for out number 2. So quickly, 2 up, 2 down so far here in the inning. It's going to bring up the designated hitter, Isaac Feldstein, who was 0 for 2 on the evening, 2 ground outs to third. Feldstein digs into the batter's box. Lefty versus righty here. And we have the southpaw's wind and delivery. Inside, nearly hits Feldstein, ball 1. Higgins had a little bit of a shaky go in the first inning. And then an unearned run last inning. Other than that, he's been pitching just fine. So far, so good. If he gets actually out of this inning here, it's a quality start for him. But so far, the Miners' bats have been silenced by left-handed pitcher Fred Schlickholtz, Higgins' counterpart tonight. 1-1 swung on and missed. 1-2 the count now with 2 outs on Feldstein. Higgins receiving the signs from Cosgrove. Tosses it up to the plate, swing and a miss, strike 3. So it's a 1-2-3 inning now for Connor Higgins. He looks spectacular this go-around. We head to the bottom of the 6th. We need a little bit of work to do to cut into this lead. We trail it to score 3-0 on your Matsu Miners radio network. Andy Cosgrove leads things off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. He is the only base runner of the ball game. He reached on a walk in his first plate appearance back in the 3rd inning. He's here now at the dish with the count 0-1 on him. Fred Schlickholtz, tonight's starter, in his 6th inning of work. So far blanking the Miners. This one hit. Is it a fair ball? No. Says the third base umpire Justin Phillips. That was very close to being the first hit of the ball game.
See, Schlichtholz is on a roll so far here today. He's at 59 pitches. We're in the 6th inning. So he has the potential to go the distance here today, and that's definitely not good news for Miners fans.
Schlickholtz winds. Here's his delivery. High. Cosgrove checks his swing. And if we get out of this inning, that will be a for sure no-hitter alert. So far, no-hitter through 5 for Schlickholtz. Let's hope we jinx it here on the broadcast. The 1-2, low, 2-2. Thankfully for the walk by Cosgrove in the 3rd, it is not a perfect game in TAC, so that's good. The no-hitter is, though. 2-2 the count. Here's the delivery by Schlickholtz. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The last time there was a no-hit bid against the Miners, it was in Kenai, and the very last hitter of the ball game, Brooks Stotler, singled to break up the no-no. It was just a combined 1 hitter for the Oilers. Justin Montgomery was taken out of the game after that hit. Speaking of Brooks Stotler, here he is. He lays down the bunch. Schlickholtz with a good pick, and he's going to toss it on over to Jack Gertzenmeyer for out number 2. I like the idea there by Stotler. However, Schlickholtz was all over it. 2 up, 2 down. Here comes the designated hitter, Jacob Huey. And this is just the man I want up to the dish right now to try to break up a no-hit bid. He is 0 for 2 on the night, but he has been spectacular all year. He swings right back up the middle. That's Duke Kinnaman who gloves it. Here's the throw. Is Huey going to beat it out? No. So 3 up, 3 down once again for the Miners. We are 2/3 done with this ball game. The Miners trail it by a score of 3-0 on your Matsu Miners radio network. Here is Duke Kinnaman leading things off here for the Pilots. We are in the top of the 7th inning. Pilots lead it by a score of 3-0 here at Herman Brothers Field. This one popped up out of play. It's going to even up the count at 1. Connor Higgins still towing the slab for the Miners. This is going to be his 7th inning of work. He's pitched well so far. 3 of the runs, out of the 3 runs tonight, 2 of them are earned. Kinnaman fouling that one off, so now Higgins is ahead in the count 1-2. Shelton runs out a few more baseballs to the home plate umpire, Marcus Dolan. Higgins getting the signs. And here's the pitch. High, 2-2. Waddle and Reed day at the ballpark. It's a beautiful one. A little bit of a breeze at Herman Brothers Field now. Here's the 2-2. Right there, says Marcus Dolan. That was a little bit of a delayed punch out. It looked like a strike. I was waiting for him to ring up Kinnaman, and eventually he did. So going down looking is Duke Kinnaman to start things off here in the top of the 7th. Bring up the left fielder, Dalton Hurd. He is 0 for 2 on the night. A fly out to the shortstop, Josh Bissonette, in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. And he also flew out in the 5th. This one foul back.
You know, Connor Higgins has thrown a good game up to date right now. He is right around the 95 pitch mark. But, you know, he just had that kind of rough first inning, Dan. And, you know, yes, he gave up another run in the 5th inning. But that was because of an error. So that was an unearned run. It should be 2-0. But instead it is 3-0. And, you know, he's pitched very well today. He's kept his walks down. He only has the 1 right now. And he's punched out 6.
That 1-1, it's going to be hit. A chopper to A.J. Lee, who's up, but it makes the throw for out number 2. Nobody warming up in the Miners bullpen, so you would expect this to be Connor Higgins' inning to get out of. So far, so good. 2 up, 2 down. And approaching the 100 pitch count mark, so you'd also imagine this is probably Higgins' last inning of work. If so, job well done getting through 7. First things first, we have to get there. There are 2 outs. Here's Kyle Watson. He reached on an error last time up. Single in his first at-bat, walked in his second at-bat, and he's going to single here, so he has reached base safely in all 4 plate appearances this evening. And that's not good when it's the speedy leadoff man on an opposing club who does that against you, because that typically results in runs. And what do you know? 2 runs scored here tonight by Kyle Watson. I'll bring up Deshaun Kersey Jr., center fielder tonight for the Pilots. He is 1 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Andy Cosgrove out having a mound visit with pitcher Connor Higgins. Still nobody warming up in the bullpen. Cosgrove telling him he's going to have to battle this one out. He'll now retreat back to behind home plate. Kersey Jr. now digging into the batter's box. It's going to be lefty versus lefty. A little bit of a gap out in right center field. A.J. Lee playing in the cut of the grass at third. Higgins looking on at first base, making sure Kyle Watson doesn't stray too far away. 1-0 the count here on Kersey Jr. Higgins gets the signs. He approves. Comes, sets, delivers. That one chopped on foul. And Andy Cosgrove is actually going to take that one off the mask. If your car needs a new taillight or just any sort of nut bolt or screw, be sure to visit the Valley's locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts. They're in Big Lake, Palmer, and Wasilla. Visit www.napaalaska.com. Andy Cosgrove says he is ready to continue this ball game. Here's the pitch. Way inside on Kersey Jr. Count now 2-1 on him. And now a little bit of action in the Miners' pen. Gage O'Brien warming up for the Miners. The 2-1 from Connor. Right there, strike 2. Deuce is now wild on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pilots lead it 3-0 here in the top of the 7th inning at Herman Brothers Field. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Pilots. No runs, no hits, 1 error for the Miners. Here's the 2-2. Just a bit outside. Run the count full. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on, hit back out of play. So a full count still here on Kersey Jr., the center fielder for the Pilots. It's Nate Eichhoff on deck. Kyle Watson at first. Higgins with a look over there. Now he delivers high for ball 4. So after getting the first 2 hitters out, he'll surrenders a single to Kyle Watson, walks Kersey Jr., and here's the number 3 hitter, Nate Eichhoff. Strolling out now for our mound visit is Matt Greeley, pitching coach for the Matsu Miners. And while we have a quick second, we would like to remind you that summer is the perfect opportunity to work on your golf game. The Palmer Golf Course is located right in the heart of Palmer, just about 2 miles from Herman Brothers Field. Call 907-745-4653 for more information. Wolfgang Winter calling off a couple raffle ticket numbers in the PA booth. A couple lucky fans winning some goodies here at the ballpark tonight. It's Dan Collins joined alongside Jordan Swick here on the call on your Matsu Miners radio network. Miners trail it by a score of 3-0. Two outs here, top of the 7th inning. Kyle Watson at second, Kersey Jr. at first. Left-handed hitting Nate Eichhoff at the plate. Connor Higgins on the mound. Gage O'Brien warming in the Miners bullpen. This one is sent into left center field. That's Michael Donadio, who's under it, makes the grab, and that is going to end things here. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left on base in the top of the 7th inning. It's time to stretch and hopefully get some hits afterwards as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 3-0 Pilots lead on your Matsu Miners radio network. Levi Jordan, second baseman for the Miners, leading things off here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Miners looking for their first hit of the ball game. 1 base runner so far. That's Andy Cosgrove. He reached via base on balls back in the 3rd inning. Here we are in the bottom of the 7th. The pitch from Schlickholtz inside 2-0. So a hitter's count on Levi Jordan. And first things first, if you want to get the first hit of the ball game, that's a good strategy. Start having some good at-bats and get into a nice hitter's count. That's what Levi Jordan has done to lead off the 7th inning. He's going to ground this one over to his counterpart, Duke Kinnaman. And Kinnaman is going to make an easy play. That's a Little League-style play over there at second for out number 1.
Now batting right fielder number 18, Harrison Schwartz.
Here's the general, Garrison Schwartz, 0 for 2 on the evening. He popped out to short his first at-bat, grounded to first in his second. Lefty versus lefty, here's the pitch. Low and in the dirt, ball 1.
You know, interesting point. The Miners have not hit the ball out of the infield yet. It's been all groundouts and flyouts to infielders. 2 flyouts to the shortstop and to the second baseman.
So 2-0 the count here. Another hitter's count on Garrison Schwartz. He is going to take that pitch all the way, kind of like his process there. Because if he would have fallen behind 3-0 and that pitch was close, we would have had something going here. He's still ahead 2-1. Here's the pitch from Schlickholz. That one is going to hit Schwartzy, so it's our second base runner of the ball game. Sounded so excited about that after one of our hitters gets plunked, but Garrison looked like it didn't hurt him at all. It just nicked part of his sleeve. He's going to rub some dirt on it, head over to first base.
Garrison Schwartz has been hit a lot this season. That's his 5th hit by pitch that leads the team. And the next closest is 2, that being Scudder.
Michael Donadio going to hit this one hard and deep into right center field. They look up, and it is gone. Home run, Michael Donadio, a 2-run shot. That is the first hit of the ball game. Hit me with it one time, Michael Donadio. Donnie Baseball.
Perfect time to connect on your first home run of the year, as he is all smiles right now. As you can tell that the Miners now have a little bit of energy in that clubhouse, but they still find themselves trailing 3-2. As of right now, that costly error in the 5th inning is the difference maker. But, you know, the Miners have a little bit of moxie in them. We'll see if they can use this toward their advantage and hopefully gather at least another run before the game's all said and done.
And that is just what the doctor ordered here in the bottom of the 7th inning. You mentioned it, that clubhouse very excited after that long ball by Michael Donadio. He came up 0 for 2 on the evening with 2 strikeouts. And that home run is absolutely huge here for the Miners in the bottom of the 7th. Jake Scudder takes that pitch, 2-0, the count now on him. And let's not stop here. Let's keep the line moving. Donnie Baseball, ladies and gentlemen. We interviewed him last night. He was the player of the game. Been putting in work here for the Miners. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Paints the corner with that one, says home plate umpire Marcus Dolan. Strike 1 on Scudder. The pitch now from Schlickholz. That one is definitely outside. A hitter's count, perhaps the best hitter's count, 3-1 on Jake Scudder. Scudder 0 for 2 on the evening, grounded out to second in the second. Flew out to the center fielder, Kersey Jr. in the 5th. Swings through that one, a good hack. Scudder wishes he could have that one back. 3-2 the count now on him. Here's the 3-2. Swings through that one for strike 3. Up comes Josh Bissonette.
Your shortstop, number 6, Josh Bissonette.
Levi Jordan led this inning off with a ground out. Schwartz came up, was hit by a pitch. Michael Donadio went yard for a 2-run home run. Scudder strikes out swinging, and now we have Josh Bissonette up to the dish. Takes that one. 1-0 the count on Bissonette. Takes that one all the way once more. Going to move the count to 1-1. Infield and outfield at normal depth against Josh Bissonette. It's A.J. Lee on deck. Andy Cosgrove in the hole if we get that far. Here's the pitch. Bissonette pops this one up. That is going to be the second baseman, Duke Kinnaman, who calls for it, makes the grab for out number 3. But Michael Donadio with the first hit of the ball game for the Miners goes yard. Garrison Schwartz was on base. He was hit by a pitch, and that cuts the lead down to the slimmest of margins. We head to the top of the 8th inning. It's the Pilots 3, the Miners 2, on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Joe Gillette leading things off for the Pilots here. In the top of the 8th inning, Pilots lead it by a score of 3-2. And new pitcher on the bump for the Miners. It is the reliever Gage O'Brien. And it is going to officially close the book on Connor Higgins. Higgins went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. This is the 12th appearance for Gage O'Brien. All have come out of the pen. In his 20 innings of work, has given up 15 hits, 14 runs, 13 of those were earned, 13 free passes, 19 punch-outs, comes in with a record of 1-3 and an ERA of 5.85. O'Brien winds, and here's the 2-1 pitch. High, ball 3. It's going to be Gillette, Walters, and Gertzenmeyer due up for the Pilots here. And a score update. One more game in action here in the ABL. The Bucks are at Lee Jordan Field taking on the Chinooks, and the Bucks currently trailing it by a score of 4-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. So a base on balls, the dreaded base on balls to start things off here. It's going to bring up Tyler Walters with 1 man on first. That's Joe Gillette. Here's the pitch. Low and in the dirt. Walters was showing bunt, brought it back. And it's just going to be ball 1 as that pitch was low and in the dirt. Here's the 1-0. That one's going to get past Andy Cosgrove. And Joe Gillette is going to take second base rather easily. So 2-0 the count here now. Joe Gillette at second, Walters at the dish, and things get a little worse here for the Miners. Andy Cosgrove and now Matt Greeley out to have a conversation with Gage O'Brien. We do have activity in the Miners bullpen. That is Gage Berlin warming up for the Miners.
The other Gage.
Gage O'Brien is on the bump. No activity so far in the Pilots bullpen. And while we do have a quick moment, now with outdoor seating, you can enjoy refreshing drink and good friends outdoors in the Alaska sunshine. Located in downtown Palmer, the Palmer Bar is a great place to grab a bite to eat and take in the sights. Call 907-745-3041 today. Dan Collins joined alongside Jordan Swick here on the call if you're just tuning in to our broadcast sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. Gage O'Brien delivers the 2-0 pitch and is inside 3-0. Now on Tyler Walters. O'Brien's delivery. Going to catch a strike there. 3-1 the count now. Miners getting their first hit in the bottom of the seventh. It was a 2-run shot by Michael Donadio. That one well inside. They're going to try to get Joe Gillette sleeping over there at second, but they do not. So back-to-back walks to start things off here in the top of the eighth inning. And now it's the skipper, Ben Taylor, coming out of the dugout. And we are just going to await the signal here.
Well, that's official because Matt Greeley came out. So 2 mound visits in the inning automatically means that they will be going to the bullpen. So I don't think he necessarily has to make the official move.
And here we have it, Gage Berlin coming into the ballgame. We'll tell you all about him when we come back here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Gage Berlin on the bump for the Miners now. Jack Gertzenmeyer showing bunt. Jake Scudder was coming extremely in. And that is going to close a quick book on Gage O'Brien. He goes a plus of work, 0+ innings to be official. Walked the only 2 batters that he saw. And Gage Berlin now on the bump. Showing bunt again is Gertzenmeyer. Gage Berlin is 0-1 on the season with a 0.00 ERA. This is his 15th appearance. In his 15 innings of work, he has struck out 13 batters, walked 10, and given up 16 hits. Check that. My apologies. Scudder playing way, and this one has popped up. Is Berlin going to get it? Yes, he does. So that was awful execution there on the bunt. Gertzenmeyer pops it right back, right toward Gage Berlin. Luckily, he had some quick reactions, snagged that one in the air for the first out. That's huge right there.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge because now a ground ball could get the Miners out of the inning, and that's exactly what they want to do, as they want to head into the bottom of the 8th still with a 3-2 deficit.
So a double play could get you out of this inning. Gage Berlin unloads that one, fouled back and out of play for strike 1. On the number 7 hitter tonight, designated hitter Isaac Feldstein. Feldstein is 0 for 3, 2 groundouts to A.J. Lee at third, 1 strikeout via a swing and a miss. Back in the 6th inning. Gage Berlin getting the signs. He sets. Here he comes from the stretch. Popped up in the air.
Infield fly.
And the infield fly rule will be called. So that is out number 2 this inning. Well, all right, we need 1 more to go. Up to the plate is Duke Kinnaman, second baseman for the Pilots. He's 0 for 3, 2 groundouts, and he struck out looking just an inning to go. 3-2 the score here at Herman Brothers Field. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Miners trail it. Runners on first and second. They were both walked to start this inning off. Joe Gillette at second, Walters at first. Berlin gets the signs. He now comes set. And here's his delivery. Good pitch right there. Paints the inside part of the plate. Strike 1. And the deliveries keep coming in the press box. We were delivered a day early. The baseball card set. Very nice. These baseball cards absolutely spectacular. GMP Christopher coming up, giving us a few sets here to me and my broadcast partner. Very first card on the deck is the coaching staff. Ben Taylor and his assistant Joe Perez, pitching coach Matt Greeley.
And we're not the last ones either. We're the second to last ones.
Are we really?
We are.
Yes, the last being the awesome PA announcer duo of Dave Wolf and Wolfgang Winter.
How's that sound?
Spectacular. So an 0-2 count here. Gage Berlin has him right where he wants him. He's looking in for the signs. Berlin is ready for business here. Likes what he sees from Cosgrove. He comes set. Here's the delivery. Swung on. Foul. Count remains 0-2. Still have him where you want him. Gage O'Brien started this inning off, walking the first 2 batters he saw. He was pulled for Gage Berlin, the other Gage in the bullpen. The first batter that Berlin saw, it was Gertzenmeyer, who popped up right back to Berlin. He was trying to square a bunt, was unsuccessful, and Feldstein popping out to the first baseman, Jake Scudder. We have a 1-2 count here now on Kinnaman. Here's Berlin's delivery. Right there, but a little high. Says Marcus Dolan. The count now 2 balls, 2 strikes. That was close.
You thought it was a little high. I thought that might have been a little inside, but nonetheless, we both thought it should have been a strike. And the Miners probably should have been out of the inning.
Yeah, it was either high or inside. Don't know which one. This one swung on. It's a chopper over to Levi Jordan. Does a good job to suck that one up. Over to Jake Scudder for out number 3. So the Pilots, no hits. They're going to leave 2 runners on. Gage Berlin coming in doing a great job. He inherited 2 runners on the bases pads and gets the 3 men he sees out in order. We move on down to the bottom of the 8th inning here. The Miners trail by the slimmest of margins on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. New pitcher for the Pilots, Timothy Holdgraffer on. This is 19th game, all out of the bullpen. Has pitched in 40 and a third innings this season. Given up 29 hits, 12 runs, 11 of those earned, 3 walks, 31 strikeouts. He comes in tied for the league lead in wins with a record of 5-0 and a 2.46 ERA. So he is a fantastic arm out of the bullpen for the Pilots. And the night for Fred Schlickholtz is done. He had a beauty. As this 1-1 is grounded over to A.J. Lee's counterpart at third, Nate Eichhoff. He's going to come up with it and make the play for out number 1. Schlickholtz in 7 innings only gave up 1 hit. It was a 2-run home run to Michael Donadio. Those are the 2 runs on him, both earned, obviously. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for Fred Schlickholtz. Up to the plate now with 1 out is Andy Cosgrove. Here's the pitch from Tim Holdgraffer. Taken for a strike. Miners only trail it by 1, so a couple of hits. They string them together. This is a brand new ball game. Still have 5 outs to work with, and you only need to score the 1 to tie things up. So let's see what we can get going here. Here's the 0-2. Way outside. The count now moves to 1-2 on Kaz. Miners with 1 hit, and we're here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The pitch from Holdgraffer. This one hit in the air, but out there in left field and not having to move much is Dalton Hurd. He's going to make the catch for out number 2. And we're going to Brooks Stotler. Brooksy is 0 for 2 on the evening. Struck out in the 3rd. and he tried to bunt his way on back in the 6th inning. But Fred Schlickholtz made a pretty good play out there on the mound to get Stotler. That one lifted in foul territory. Nate Eichhoff, the third baseman's not going to be able to track that one down. So it's just a foul ball, strike one on Stotler. It's weird to think how this is only Stotler's third at bat, and we're in the 8th inning. Just a few days ago, back on Tuesday night, the boys put up 20-plus hits and scored 20 runs, and they were just batting inning by inning, it seemed. Not this time around, as they are struggling. Only one hit tonight. The offense has been very streaky this season. They're either doing extremely well, or they have nights like this where they're just off a little bit. This one popped up. This should be caught. It's Duke Kinnaman and Kyle Watson running into each other. Duke Kinnaman made the catch right there by second base. Kyle Watson, don't know what he was thinking going all the way over there. Sure, he technically can make that call as the leader of the infield as a shortstop, but that should have been Duke Kinnaman's ball all the way. So nearly a tragic situation there. However, it's still out number 3. We now head to the final inning. Unless the Miners could put up a run in the bottom half, and Berlin can hold them here on your Matsu Miners radio network. Dalton Hurd leads things off for the Pilots here in the top of the 9th inning. Pilots leading the Miners by a score of 3-2 here at Herman Brothers Field. Berlin gets the signs from Cosgrove as we await the 1-0-1 pitch. Here it comes. Swung on and miss. Strike 2. Lucky that wasn't strike 3 because it bounced all the way to the backstop. That would have been trouble because Hurd would have been on the run to first for that one. Instead, so far, so good. He's just down in the count 0-2 here. Dalton Hurd batting .317 on the year. Takes that one low for ball 1. Miners were trailing it by 3 runs all the way until the bottom of the 7th inning. Then Michael Donadio hit a 2-run home run. And that so far is still the only hit of the ball game for the Miners. Two into the count here on Dalton Hurd, the number 9 hitter. It's the leadoff man, Kyle Watson, on deck. Kersey Jr. is in the hole. The 2-2 pitch. Chopper to Hopper over to Josh Bissonette. And a good pick at first base by Jake Scudder. That was a great scoop for out number 1. They just got Dalton Hurd.
Now batting shortstop number 21, Kyle Watson.
So here's Kyle Watson. He's reached base safely in all 4 of his plate appearances. A single in the first. Also came around to score that inning. A walk in the third. reached on an error in the 5th, came around to score that inning as well, singled in the 7th. So with 1 out, here's the first pitch to Kyle Watson. Swings through that one for strike 1. Gage Berlin retiring every batter so far that he's faced since coming out of that bullpen. 4 straight for him. Here's the pitch, and that one well inside. Kyle Watson not moving out of the way of that one. The count 1-1. Nearly hit him. The 1-1. Swung on and missed strike 2. Gage Berlin looking to retire Watson for the first time this evening. Berlin shaking off the signs. Now likes what he sees. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Cosgrove is going to have to throw it on over to first because it was dropped in the dirt. But Scudder's there to receive that throw. And it's out number 2 here. Bring up Kersey Jr. with the bases empty. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Miners trail it 3-2. Dr. K's Pediatric Dentistry in Palmer believes the best dental care can only happen when a trusting and respectful relationship has been built between the doctor parents and their children in a safe, fun, stress-free environment. It's Dr. K's goal to change how you think about going to the dentist. Give them a call at 745-KIDS. That's 745-5437 to make an appointment, or go online at matsumoose.com to learn more about Dr. K's Pediatric Dentistry. 1-0 the count here on Kersey Jr. The pitch from Berlin. This one is going to be hit over to Bissonette. He traps it, and the throw just gets Kersey Jr. 3 up, 3 down here for Gage Berlin. He's retired all 6 batters he's faced, and we head to the bottom of the 9th. The Miners need 1 to tie, 2 to win on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. All right, well, this is the do-up you want if you're the Miners. It's the top of the lineup, Huey, Jordan, and Schwartz, leading things off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Miners trail it by 1. This one hit right back to Holgrafer on the first pitch. He knocks it down and retires Huey for the first out this inning.
Now batting your second baseman, number 1, Levi Jordan.
So here comes Levi Jordan. He is 0 for 3 on the night. 3 groundouts. Score update at Lee Jordan Field. Chinook still leading that ball game in the top of the 8th by a score of 4-1 over the Anchorage Bucks. First pitch outside. 1-0 the count on Levi Jordan. Here's the 1-0. Taken all the way, so 2 balls, no strikes. And all you can hope for is to get the tying run on base. Levi Jordan at the plate now representing the tying run. Here's the 2-0. That one just catches the inside part of the plate for a strike. Two and one in the count with one out, nobody on to Levi Jordan. Miners trail at 3-2. Bottom of the ninth inning. Here's the pitch. This one is served into center field. Kersey Jr. on the run. And he's going to make the grab. So the Miners down to their final out, and up to the plate is Garrison Schwartz.
Now batting, your right fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
Garrison is 0 for 2 on the night. He was hit by a pitch in the 7th inning and scored off a home run, a 2-run shot by the man in the on-deck circle, Michael Donadio. That is the first and only hit of what is going to be the ball game for the Miners as Schwartz flies out to center to end the game here. So they go 3 up, 3 down here, and they lose by a score of 3-2 here to the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Pilots. 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Miners here as they fall, and that is going to drop their record to 22-16. They are now only 1 game ahead of the Oilers, and the Pilots, check this out, improved to 1.5 games behind the Miners. So a very close race now. Things are getting really weird here in the standings as the Pilots will improve to 22-19, and that is going to send us into the Napa Auto Parts postgame show. My broadcast partner Jordan Swick will be joined alongside the player of the game. I'll be joined by the skipper Ben Taylor here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. on the road before you wrap it up once again at home. And it's about that time you want to get on a little bit of a hot streak and then reach your peak come top of the World Series time. And we have to hope they get there. One thing's for sure, they are going to the playoffs. They will be playing come August 4th unless, there's a postponement due to rain or any other kind of weather circumstances. But regardless, the Miners will be in the playoffs. So now it's just a matter of, you can't necessarily worry about the number 1 seed or even the number 2 seed. You just have to start thinking, hey, we're in it. Let's just put everything behind us. Let's not standing watch. And then hopefully you get hot right before you get to the playoffs. I feel like that's about the only thing to worry about right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all that matters. I mean, let's take last season, for example. The Miners were not the hottest team heading into the playoffs last year. It was the Anchorage Bucks. And, we were talking to their broadcaster before yesterday's game, Andrew Schneider. And, it was the Oilers who were in first place in the American League division. It was the Oilers, Bucks, and some other team that I can't remember, but they were out of it. And I think it was the Panthers.
Yes.
But anyways, the Oilers had the lead pretty much all of the season. Yeah. And then it was the Bucks who were playing really hot as of late. And then they made it to the top of the World Series. And, they won the first game and they also won the last game. So they took 2 out of 3 from the Matsu Miners in that top of the World Series. So as long as you are playing your best ball by the playoffs, you should be good to go. But yes, obviously we want the better matchup, the 1 versus 4, although even if the season ends today, it's still going to be a tough battle against the Anchorage Bucks. So, I don't know if I'm necessarily a huge fan of the playoff format and how it's set up right now, but there's still a lot of baseball to go, and it's definitely going to be interesting as we get closer.
Yeah, and I was reaching over toward my left here because it is now a 4-3 score. Let me reach over once again, and now the game is actually finalized. That is the final out. So the Bucks do fall 4-3 to the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. That's going to make them 18-21, still 4 games back, but now they fall a little bit more behind the Pilots, who actually now are fighting for technically you can even say the 1 seed, especially the 2nd seed, as they're only a half a game behind the Oilers. But as we mentioned, you just have to keep winning. We're going to go to the playoffs, and once we get there, we'll see where it goes. But that's going to wrap things up here on the broadcast. You could credit Fred Schlickholtz with the victory tonight, Connor Higgins with a tough loss, and Timothy Holdgraffer with the save. The Miners fall to 22-16 on the season. The Pilots improve to 22-19. And we like to wrap up this broadcast, as always, by extending a special thank you to both Pete and Denise Christopher, and for my broadcast partner, Jordan Swick, our media guru, 1 booth over from me, Josh Grissom. I'm Dan Callan saying I'll catch you on the flip side here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network.